Our first guest, Gary Johns, next. Welcome back to the South Buxton Raceway preseason preview. I'm Chris McLeod. Next to me, 2006 Sports Stock Points champ, it's Gary Johns. Gary, before we get into talking about last season, let's talk about the past seasons and how long you've been racing it at South Buxton Raceway.
Started racing at South Buxton in 1998. Been there ever since.
Started in the Econo class, moved up to Sports Stock?
That's correct. We're in Econo for 2 years.
And then moved up to Sports Stock, obviously, as we just said. Won the points champ last year. Let's talk about that. 8 feature wins for you last year and a very strong run. Was it a consistent season? Was it a hard season? Was there any moments in the season that really jump out at turning points?
Oh, yeah. Last year was quite the tough season. There for a while, Todd Wellman led the points. Took us quite a while to catch back up to him and pass him.
Was there a race that jumps out last year, or as I said, a moment that jumps out that really turned it around for you?
Yeah, there was. Basically, one night, I think Todd had trouble. We got around him, and from there we were able to pass him in points.
Talk about momentum, because it seemed like once you got up in front in the points, it really seemed like you took off, and just a lot of work and consistency from the pit crew.
Yeah, that's right. We work on this car all the time. Every night, hours and hours are put into this car.
A lot of people may be watching at home and not know how much work goes into a race car. It's not a Saturday morning thing where you start working on the car. When does it start?
Basically, it starts every night after work. We work on it from about 5 till 10 every night, and then Saturday all day, Sunday.
And here we are in the off-season now. How much time do you put in the off-season getting the car ready for the next season?
Oh, usually about 2-3 months worth of work. We tear the suspension out, grease everything up, check everything, replace worn-out parts, and then freshen up the engine.
A lot of people behind the scenes help put the car together and help put you in victory lane each and every week. Name some of those people.
My father, he helps out a lot. My son. Jody Mason is one of my pit crews. That's about it, actually.
And we'll get into the sponsors a little bit later on that certainly help out financially and with other help throughout the season. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about, we talked about memorable moments, but the championship race last year, kind of walk us through that last lap.
That was a good race, actually. Had about a half-track lead for quite a while. Then caution flag come out, which put Steve Shaw in second place directly behind us. As the last lap come on, we were coming into turn 1. Steve, being the veteran driver, gave me a little tap in the back, kind of loosened me up, pushed me up on the track. As we come out of turn 2, Steve was coming up to hold me back. I was coming down to hold him back, and we connected wheels, we hooked. And from there, I believe Steve's car broke, which luckily for me allowed me to win the race.
And the championship win on the final night of racing at South Buxton Raceway. Talked about Steve Shaw, obviously a very strong competitor in the sports stock class, and there's many others too, isn't there?
Yes, of course. Todd Wellman, he's always real good competition. Again, Bob Chapman, he's moving up real good. This year, I'm sure he'll be in victory lane a lot of times.
And anybody else this season? Obviously, last season we talked about some of the guys that were competitors for you, but this season, anybody that jumps out that you're going to have to keep an eye on?
No, basically just, again, Steve Shaw, Todd Wellman, and Bob Chapman are the ones that come to my mind right away. I'm sure there's always somebody who sneaks up through the pack.
In Victory Circle, on the final race of the season, it was asked if you were thinking about moving up. Obviously conquered the points for Sports Stock, and you're back this year in Sports Stock, so far anyway. What happened there?
Well, I was going to move up to late model, but money issues, the way the economy's going, we're just going to stick in this class just because we have the car already, and it seems to work good.
And a couple of rule changes in the sports stock class. Talk about that.
Yeah, I see now that they have a crankshaft rule, and we also have a brake caliper rule, and that we'll have to change a few things.
And for the 2006 season, it was mandatory receivers. A lot of drivers talk about that. Some right off the bat didn't like it, but in the end, I think it sped up the show. What was your thoughts on the receiver issue?
Oh, I really like the receiver. It helps us out, let you know when there's cautions coming out, if there's an accident in the corner, debris on the track, let you know how to start the race, where to slow down. I find it very helpful.
Coming into the 2007 season, looking to repeat, is there anything that's on your mind immediately as the season starts? You want to get out to that points lead early, or is there anything you want to work on as the season goes on?
No, obviously we want to get into the points lead and maintain that. We've won 3 other points championships in street stock, so we'd like to win 4.
Is there a race in particular? We've got our memorial races throughout the season. You got the mid-season, you got the season championship. Is there a race in particular that you want to win?
No, basically just any race is good for us.
Any checkered works.
Any checkered works, that's right.
Gary Johns, the 2006 points champ, looking to repeat in 2007. Before we wrap up, the sponsors on the car.
Wensler Farms are my big sponsor. Nova Industrial, Hercon Sheet Metal out of Chatham. They always build the body for us and all fabricating. Rusco Training out of London. JP Carey out of Chatham.
And how did the car get here today?
Fredonia Tire out of Pennsylvania actually brought this car in on their tilt bed.
Very nice. Gary Johns, 2006 points champ. Looking forward to 2007. More with the preseason preview next.